I traveled to Japan to conduct a workshop and meet up with an Aikido instructor who shares the origins of this peaceful martial art. Okay. All right. Back. Relax. Shake it loose. Again. Back. Okay? All right. Everybody slows down between, but very explosive on the punches. When it comes to training, I'm a bit unconventional. I don't rely on methods from the past. Instead, we preserve the body by implementing tools to support power, agility, structure, speed. All these things matter. And I get that there's so many things that you can choose from out there, but if you're going to hit your maximum potential, then you need to follow a method that allows you to reach a goal of innovation. Otherwise, how will you think on your own? At the same time as abs are controlled, his pelvis is forward, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, up. 2, 3, 4, good. Relax, one more, down. 2, 3, 4, 5, slow. Good, pelvis is forward, abs are squeezing, then go up slow. 2, 3, 4, 5, done, good. After he does that, he's straight blast. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm trying to control that circumstance, whether I fall on the ground or standing. Yeah. If you wanted to put restraints in there, that's totally up to you. Spring to the ground. The only weakness he has is this. Don't forget about everything about scissoring, arcing, back, here, momentum, and back. All right, thank you. Tokyo was not even on the radar until I met up with Hyuga Amir, a practitioner of the martial arts and an Aikido instructor who lives in Japan. Amir is quite the interesting character. It's not just that he was willing to take that extra step to learn the JKD, to find a better understanding, but he was willing to go outside the norm that he was normally used to.
I'm the universe, be one of the universe, one with the universe, because Aikido is about blending and all that stuff. But it's very related to JKD in many senses. I started practicing Aikido. That's my main art, but from my childhood, as many people, I like Bruce Lee. I thought that the Aikido that is being shown now is not very practical. It's more like a dance, and in that sense, it's good. But I don't feel that it's really a martial art nowadays. In Aikido, the problem now is that there is no attack.
I mean, you understand the motion. We're just going to adjust. Right.
Right stance?
Yeah, just right stance. And then when you're ready, like a snake, but I'll relax it after that.
So your advice should be like?
Yeah, I would just keep it like natural, and you can move it here. Hey. Okay. When something's foreign to you, you're going to feel off balance. Nothing's going to connect right, and I get that. Everyone's different. However, one of the most important components you can do is relax and let go of everything that you can think about. You don't have to emulate anyone.
Feel power in the first one. Something going wrong.
It's the complete relaxation. See the difference? That's what I want. Good. In most sports combat, it's here over the top.
Boom, boom.
Yeah. We're gonna try something to break that habit. There you go. Listen. Keep your form. Keep your form. That's it. That was good.
Nobody comes at you like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And a fucking NCAA wrestler would shoot a double on him and take him down faster than you can possibly imagine. I mean, this does not work.
It's a dance.
Well, it works. It works if someone doesn't know what they're doing, or if you have a lot of physical attributes. Like Seagal's a huge guy. He's a very big guy. And he probably could pull that off on a lot of people who don't know how to fight.
Aikido is not the only martial art to receive criticism. Every system has it. I understand that it's probably not going to align with values, and that's usually the case. You're at a different time of your life that you may be able to inherit that later in the future. But according to the principles of Aikido, they cultivate their mind, their body, the space around them to harmonize with everyone, to remain peaceful. So I find it hard that Aikido would submit a challenge just to prove that their system works. They don't need to prove anything.
宇宙建国の大精神の体験に向かってさせる。これをみそぎってみそぎ法。そこで合気道は踊のみそぎ、踊の緩和だという。
This is where he, let's say, he prayed. And his house was there. His house is still there. And that's where he lived and when he actually trained, because there is a dojo there. It's the original Japanese white mat. Aiki Jinja. Aiki is the force. This means communion, and this means energy. So, and this is Jinja, which is it means shrine. Aiki is a concept that, well, is not that the founder of Aikido created the Aiki, because it's something that it has been in Japan since the samurais were using it for more than 1,000 years.
The samurai relied on many weapons. However, the sword was a part of them. If they lost their weapon in combat, that would only mean certain death. They had minimal chance of surviving. So the backup system was their hands.
The founder of Aikido was using all those things, but he was also a very martial person. He was not somebody like was doing like some kind of fluid form of Tai Chi. Or as a martial artist, he was very strong. Mm-hmm. And he went through all that process of Jiu-Jitsu and all those martial arts, Judo, Shinkage-ryu, all those things. Isoyama was learning from O-sensei. O-sensei is the name they use for the founder of Aikido. He was learning more Jiu-Jitsu side of Aikido. And that's why you see sometimes Seagal doing I'm not going to do something like, but boom. I was doing this when I was younger. Please be clear about this. It's not this dangerous, but it has lots of wild boars. I have met once with them and their family. I just have my umbrella. The mother looked at me, he was with the children. I look at her, I breathe. We stay looking at each other around 5 seconds. I thought, in the beginning, well, I thought if she comes, I mean, this is over because I don't have anything to protect myself. So this is a very special place. It's not that it has a great history, but after the founder came here, because he felt that this was a very special, energetic place and so on and so forth. So he chose this place as the last place to complete his art. So to complete Aikido, his last stage.
Yeah.
And there we can see from here, but there is an Aiki shrine, Aiki Jinja, and he was coming from that shrine, which was in front of his house, the whole way, he was walking till this shrine. He was climbing up the hills with his students. He was doing some kind of sensitivity training.
Right.
You will.
Well, feeling this much heat up here almost feels like he was getting the enlightenment from the sun, because I'm getting hot.
Yes. What kind of training would you do here with Jerry in a normal day of training with him?
Besides physical training, Jerry believed that the next ingredient to understand energy was pressure training. That means that you would not only understand what you can do, but you can understand from the opponent's perspective. He would have loved this place.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. You always want to stay within the framework of what you have. And don't compensate because I'm shorter. Like if I was here and you're going.
I like this one we did now.
The way it works is that you have to make an effort to hit first.
I stimulate him with a punch or whatever. Now it was a punch, right?
Yes.
And then I proceed.
The one controlling the fact that he's going to parry or punch you. If you try to react on someone's attack, you're too slow. It's not going to work. Your trapping doesn't work. That's where I can admit that it won't work, because you're doing it at the wrong time, at distance.
Doing the trapping without the punch, right?
Correct.
And this is a Atago shrine,
Okay.
Atago Jinja. This is the one in Ibaraki Prefecture. But for me, this is special. Not because of the shrine, but the place where is it located. The founder was not only coming up the hills through those long, infinite stairs that they are just there, but he was going the whole mountain. I think, as we said before, that he felt that this mountain itself, it had very powerful energy, because, well, also samurai people were here, and everybody might have felt this. Usually you will see this, usually not always, you will see these kind of ropes, thick ropes, thin ropes, to mark the area.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like you are controlling the center.
Right.
So you are coming very yes, I feel the power. I feel like, there is some strong force coming to me.
That's on a linear line.
Linear line, yes.
If it comes around this way, then that's why these work.
For example.
It would be very difficult if I tried to come at you now, because you're going to hit me.
Yep.
Mobile position, advancement to you, or advancement from your end to get me to attack you.
It was my teacher, the last student of the founder, who went there. He was doing his aesthetic training for 17 years. And that feeling of his body was lifting up and everything was inside and outside at the same time. Hirosawa Sensei, my teacher, he came here with the founder as well. So that's why he knew this place, and he used to come here. Well, he was living here, of course, but even the people living in Iwama, they don't come every day here. He was here, he was coming here sometimes, and here where he said
He felt it.
He felt it. He got it.
Now, this doesn't mean that he was struck by some sort of beam from the sky and is able to project power towards people. It just means that it's an exploration of quantum physics, which is a cross between the spiritual realm and the elements of the universe. Now, it depends on how far you want to go through your studies with this, but for many people, it's like believing in UFOs, and you know it's there, but it's too blurry to identify it's actually real.
Some of them, they were able to apply this kind of Aiki. It is said that Miyamoto Musashi, when he fought with Sasaki Kojiro, he also used this leading of awareness because before the other persons was able to cut him. From my point of view, there is nothing magical about that. If you feel somebody's awareness, you will look and stare at him or her. I mean, this happens in everyday life. Like somebody's thinking or feeling something when I cross the street. O-sensei was different because he brought this Aiki in the realm of the spirit, like leading even without touching. That's a very controversial point because people think that it's impossible to lead somebody's intention without touching. And it's something that you cannot do through will. You can't say, I'm going to be with the other one. This is something that comes from introspection. First, you cannot do this without a physical, very, very long-term physical training. And this is something you cannot learn from videos. You really need to feel and grab somebody who has this Aiki inside. The Meiji period started with that symbol. Before Meiji period, it was Edo period, and the emperor was not in power. The shogun was in power.
Okay.
So the military forces were in charge of ruling the country, not the emperor.
Right.
And that changed because the foreigners came here and people was also unsatisfied. Well, you can see some of those things in movies like The Last Samurai. Well, it's a little bit fantasy, but anyway. I mean, wherever you see a chrysanthemum
Okay.
is showing something about the emperor. And because the emperor is part of God or is descendant of God, then that's why he will be always in these kind of sacred places, shrines. When you are talking about interception, it's like a way of like manipulating the other so you get the chance to intercept him.
I want you to get in the habit of just using this as your defense barrier, your rear handle. Because it's supposed to be hitting on whatever angle you can do it on. If I'm throwing a punch, I don't want to throw a punch like this. I want to punch it like this. Move around him. Get him to. What's the purpose behind this? It's just to learn your defenses. Because yeah, what if he catches you off guard and you know how to defend and counter? And then come back to that position. People performing that kick don't normally do it that way. It's more, yeah. There you go. And because I'm drawing you here, you're opening the line. All right, time. Okay, good. Good energy. All right. So if he does it,
Wow, that's the difficult thing, the last thing.
yeah. Doing these type of kicks is a high skill level that we almost assume that there's another person that knows what you know, and he's going to be throwing a kick, and then you're attacking that. That's a very high skill level. Like, would that happen for real? Maybe not, but it makes you very intelligent in the sense of combat. So you're seeing it from another side. Good class. All right. Good job.
Thank you.
Martial art include all the combative arts like karate or
Judo.
karate, judo, Chinese kung fu or Chinese boxing, whatever you call it. All those. You see, like Aikido, Korean, I can go on and on and on. But it's a combative form of fighting. I mean, it's not, some of them became sport, but some of them are still not. I mean, they use, for instance, kicking to the groin, jabbing fingers at the eyes and things like that.
In my pursuit of understanding what Bruce Lee was thinking after years of studying, training, working with original students, there was a small piece in the Tao of Jeet Kune Do which I didn't really expand upon. Maybe explored it, I'll never know. However, the point is that Bruce Lee utilized resources to lead him to a direction of unawareness. Now, Amir and I work on different martial arts. We express it differently, we train people in a different manner, but we're trying to lead people in a good direction, which is a healthy lifestyle. One of you are going to give way. It's such a great exercise because it requires both of you doing the same exact thing on the opposite end, and it maintains that continuity and connection by motor setting you and finding a way in.
So it will not be pressure anymore. I mean, you
No
will
need.
just change.
No need, unless you collapse and you guys are up against the wall and like, you know. Problem with that sense is that that's assumed that that's going to go that way because they're motor set into thinking like grabbing like here. You get without grabbing. Close your eyes. What supports those principles is a good engine, a good vehicle. So this on-guard stance is not a Jeet Kune Do stance. It's an on-guard stance. It's a position to allow me to move to you. It has a deeper meaning than what people think, and it's a lot simpler than what people make it out to be. After we thanked our fantastic host with the abundance of treats and roundtable discussions, we were off to Tokyo. Now, there's lots of lights, lots of distractions, people, food. It was a limelight to remember. And let me tell you something, if you're gonna go around Tokyo, don't buy a suitcase. It's gonna drag you down. If you're gonna fill it up and you think that you're going to have everything you can take back home, it's just gonna tire you out. Instead, get yourself a backpack, grab some items that you wanna take back home to remember by, and experience the city without being dragged by a lot of weight. Trust me.
It's very powerful, so you don't have internet here. Usually the more you go there, the less internet you have. Those stones for me are like, this is the entrance of the house and the living room starts there. This is my number one for you. Koi fish should be here. I don't know if they are still here.
But usually people, they become together because they feel secure, right? Under something. It can be a country, it can be whatever. But the founder of Aikido knew that that was not going to help. But the thing is, he knew that the world need a different mind. He knew that flags, countries, even if he was Japanese in the sense that he was promoting the Japanese culture, he wanted something new. And this mind would be brought about only when people understand that we are only one thing. Even if people think that we are different, we are the same. I mean, it's like a pizza. You have the ingredients, can have some chili and, you know, but the pineapple, but the base is the same.
You are to combine the two in harmony. Not if you have one to the extreme, you will be very unscientific. If you have another to the extreme, you become all of a sudden a mechanical man, no longer a human being. So it is a successful combination of both.
This is all an interesting takeaway. I mean, the founder of Aikido was meaning to develop a program for people to bond together in a community without enduring violence. There's a lot of things that he already went through. I mean, he went through a war, he was asked to train a military, he had specific details of martial arts and he knew how violent it could be. He wanted to refrain himself from doing any of that.
The founder of Aikido at 87, being held this way, could do that. Isn't that remarkable?
All right, but what is the purpose? If somebody's gonna mug you, nobody's gonna go like this.
Oh, yeah? Wait. Now, wait a minute. He raised... He raised an interesting point. If someone's going to mug you, they don't generally go like that. But if they do, you can do like that. We'll be back.
It doesn't mean that that's what you will use to beat somebody, of course not, because the founder of Aikido wanted to be one with the other person, blend with the other person's spirit, which means that you are one with the other person's awareness. But the main point is, how do you bring humanity together? That's the main point.
3、4、5.
And just don't throw it back in there.
Yes, not just not so. No, just kidding. They have every year this festival, the Aikitaisai. So people all over Japan will come here and do this ceremony. It's a Shinto ceremony, and they will have a small demonstration of Aikido. So, well, you can read here. It says, "May peace prevail on earth."
I'm sure everybody respects the fact that nobody is just going to go in there to place. They respect it enough to leave it alone. They know that it's important to the community. So you can find this in other countries, probably not. Just because of the way the culture's been brought up, this is the way they treat important things.
You're not going to go in and force yourself on to someone else. Am I correct?
Exactly, because why? Why you want to do that? Why you want to prove something? Because you want to become something. Confidence is not something that comes from that feeling of becoming. For me, confidence comes from no becoming, in the sense that you are nothing. You train in the way that you refine your art, you refine the way, the biomechanics, the way you train. The main point here is like, you are able to see how do you live if 1, 2, 3, 10 people can be in the river, at least they can change the course of the river.
We can learn something from Aikido. They take the peaceful route. And that is something that many of us forget, that there's not a reason to go in and challenge people. Now, there's nothing wrong with sparring. And even in my practice, there's this trend that everybody has to prove themselves. It's not necessary. The only person that you're going to challenge is yourself.
Everybody here seems to be, going like this all the time.
Well, that's good. I'm very glad. I'm very glad to see that, because at least somebody is caring for their own body, right? Now, James Coburn is a peace-loving man.
Yeah, I met him.
Right? You've met him. He's really, really nice. Super mellow and all that. Now he appreciates the philosophical part of it. Therefore, his understanding of it is deeper than Steve. So it's really hard to say. You see what I'm saying now?
I see.
It's different. So that's, depending on what you see in it.